representatives of our state, the people who we elect to office to represent us in determining the future of our state. And they're meeting now for 180 days, which is their custom. Some important people sit in these chairs. And look at them today. Some important people are sitting in these chairs today. Some important people sit in these chairs for 180 days making decisions about our state, but today the focus is on the young people who are sitting in these chairs today, because some important people are sitting in these chairs. Because all of the years of education are now coming to a close, and we're getting ready to graduate. Amen? We're ready for it, aren't we? So the question rightly rises, what has been the purpose of all of these years of education? Why do we need an education? Before we get to the answer to that question, are we ready to stand up and stretch a bit? Let's start with a campfire song. Perhaps you've heard it before. And every time we say the word up, we'll stand up. And every time we say the word down, we'll sit down. Ready? It's a campfire song, right? Here we go. Do something like this. Feel free to sing along if you know it. The grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and marched them down again. And when you're up, you're up. And when you're down, you're down. And when you're only halfway up, you're neither up nor down. Ready to go faster now? The grand old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He marched them up to the top of the hill and he marched them down again. And when you're up, you're up. In the case of the story of the grand old Duke of York, the grand old Duke of York had an army of 10,000 men, and he marched them up the hill. When he said march, what did they do? They marched. Think about it for a moment now. The English word duke and the English word education. Do you know that? Education. They come from the same Latin root. And that word in Latin, ducere, means to lead. Follow me now. What does the Duke do? The Duke leads. In the song, he led 10,000 men up the hill, and again. The Duke leads. All of you who are preparing to graduate, what is it that our education has done for us? It has prepared us to what? To lead. Which is why all of us sitting in the gallery are so proud of you, because for these past many years, we've been leading you along, educating you, leading you along, so that you in turn might lead others. Are you ready for that challenge? It's a little scary, isn't it? Because for much of our lives, we've been followers. Any of us on social media, any of us tweeted already today? Let's use a social media analogy. When we're on Twitter, there are two things we do on Twitter. One is to follow others, When I think of this theme, the stories of two lions come to mind. The story of two lions. One story was written when your grandparents or great-grandparents were your age, and the other was written about the time that you came into this world. Perhaps you recognize the story of the first lion. The first lion sang a song that went something like this. Life is sad, believe me, missy, when you're born to be a sissy, without the pin and bird. Should never this, but I could let all my habits nevermore be scared of rabbits if I only had the nerve. How many of us heard that song before? Yeah, I said it was more of your grandparents or great-grandparents' time, right? Where did that song come from? That song came from a movie called The Wizard of Oz. And The Wizard of Oz was the story of a young lady whose name was Dorothy. And Dorothy found herself in this very new place called Oz. And she found herself there with her dog whose name was Toto. Are you following so far? So Dorothy and Toto found themselves in the land of Oz. And they were following along the yellow brick road. And they met one friend. The first person they met was a scarecrow. And what did the scarecrow need? Rain. After that, they met a tin man. What did the tin man need? A heart. And so now Dorothy and Toto are walking with the scarecrow and the tin man down the yellow brick road, and they're coming up to a dark forest. Have you seen the movie? And what are they thinking? Inside that forest there could be what? Lions and tigers and bears. Lions and tigers and bears. Lions and tigers and bears. When out from behind a tree jumps a lion who says, "Roar!" Do you know what happens next? Dorothy slaps that lion and says, "You are nothing but a cowardly lion." And from that point on, how does the lion act? Cowardly. Now this is my question for you. Do cowardly lions jump up from behind trees and go, "Roar"? Do cowardly lions do that? No. He was not a cowardly lion. But from the point that she told him he was a cowardly lion, from that point forward, he began to believe that he was a cowardly lion. Ladies and gentlemen, be careful with what it is that others say about you. Your education has prepared you to ask questions, so when others say things, you can question it. Was that lion cowardly? Cowardly lions don't jump out from behind trees. You follow me? So that was the story of the first lion. The story of the second lion was written closer to the time when you came into this world. You probably know it. It was a Disney movie named The Lion King. And The Lion King is the story of a cub whose name is Simba. And Simba's father is the king of the Animal Kingdom. Simba's father's name is Mufasa. And when King Mufasa died, who should be the king of the Animal Kingdom? His son, Simba. And yet, Simba's evil uncle, whose name was Scar, exiled Simba out into the wilderness, where Simba met two new friends. What were their names? Pumbaa and Timon. And Simba begins thinking to himself, you know what? Hakuna Matata. I think I can get to like it out here. Do you remember the turning point in that story? The turning point in that story comes one dark night when Simba's walking beside a pool of water. And he hears a voice from heaven that says what? Simba, remember who you are. remembers who he is. Ladies and gentlemen, some important people sit in these chairs. Remember who you are. The Capital Area Optimist Clubs are recognizing you today because you are the best and you are the brightest, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise, like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. Follow me? Instead, like Simba, remember who you are. Our Governor Williams, said it so well when he said, remember where you've come from and remember where you are today. You've come far. And the reason these Capital Area Optimists are recognizing you today is because they believe that you're going to continue to go far. Ladies and gentlemen, as you continue to go far, I'd like to give you a few words of encouragement. The first is a lesson that I learned, of all places, at the gym. Why are you laughing? It's not obvious that I go to the gym. Have you heard the story about when I first started going to the gym here in Austin? I saw an ad on the side of the bus for a particular gym here in Austin. I thought, how cool, I should have membership at the gym. Sounds like fun. I went to the gym that first night, and I worked out for at least a half hour, if not 45 minutes. And I was pumping iron, and I went home that night after lifting weights. And I woke up the next morning and I looked in the mirror and what did I see? The same person I was the day before. Follow me? That night I went back to the gym. And I worked out again. And I bet I worked out an hour, if not an hour and 15 minutes that night, just pumping iron all night long. Went to bed, woke up the next morning, what did I see? The same old body I had the day before. You know what this story is about? Went back the next night to the gym and decided to lift weights again. And this time, I just had a big guy who was lifting weights, and he had guns that were like this big. They were like a tree trunk. And so I asked him, excuse me, at least that's how I felt inside. But I asked him, excuse me, but how did you get guns that big? And he said to me, buddy, I work out an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, for the past 6 years. The light bulb went on. I'm not going to have huge guns in a day, am I? But I bet that if I went to the gym an hour and a half or 2 hours a day, 6 days a week for 6 years, I have a feeling I wouldn't be wearing this coat today. It wouldn't fit over my guns. And the same is true of all of us. Life is a journey. We don't get there in an instant. There is no magic. It takes us doing what we do day after day after day that makes us stronger, maybe not physically, but in terms of who we are, our character. And that's why I admire so much these optimists sitting here with us. Take our event program for a moment. Take our event program and see what they wrote on the back of that program. Did you see what they wrote there? They wrote there their Optimist's Creed. Now, when you leave this space, ask them for an extra copy of this program so that you can tear it out of your program and you can put it on your bathroom mirror at home. There was what it is that these people live and what it is that they see in you. This is how they try to live, and this is how they hope that you'll try to live too. That you'll put this on your bathroom mirror, and then you'll look at it in the morning and figure out which one of these you want to focus on this week. Focus. Which one of these you're going to focus on this week? And then next week you can pick a different one, deal? For 1 week, this is Benjamin Franklin's secret. he would be better. He would be the best. These people call themselves what? Optimists? What do we think of when we hear the word optimist? Glass half full sort of people, right? But what if the word really comes from the Latin word optimus, which means what? The best. These optimists strive to be the best. And when they look at the young people in these chairs, they see out here the best. One final note. I hold in my hand two of the most powerful words in the English language. I hold in my hand two of the most powerful words in the English language. What are they? I, what? Can. Oh. I can. I can. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the optimist's attitude, and that's what they hoped to see today and to continue to see in you as you go forward beyond your high school studies. That's the wishes. There are so many people here in this gallery who love and support you. Ladies and gentlemen, some important people sit in these chairs, but remember, success doesn't come overnight. It takes us practicing day after day after day. And so in the meantime, don't forget who you are. The message of Simba, remember